Hello everyone, welcome. If you're new to my channel, my name is Leaners and this is my planty journey. Today I'm going to show you how some of these plants have just blown my mind sizing up, and I think we will go to the elephant in the room, literally. My dark form Watsoniana. Look at that beautiful girl. So these plants came to me as little tiny plants, you know, like I'm going to swing you around to some of my little ones. These are my tissue culture plants that I just broke out of the cocoon. And you can see when I put my hand next to them how little they are. So the majority of these plants came to me that size, or like these little ones up in this shelf. And in just 6 to 8 weeks, they've turned into this. So this plant is one plant, and the last leaf that it came out of, I'm looking to see, was this one. So let's just step back and look at that. From this to this, and that's the first leaf it's given me since it arrived, and it's got another one coming out. And you know, I should have measured before this video, but we're talking about 16 or more inches there. So let's move along. One of the first ones I got, my first plants came from Home Depot, and I got this little tiny Gagiana, which was about this tall. And now you see where it's at, and it has been sizing up to these leaves that are over a foot long. And you know, I didn't know anything about Alocasia, and I got this plant and it's just turned into this giant mammoth, as you can see, that is taking up a whole corner of my dining room, and I'm loving it. The way it holds its leaves out is kind of like Tiny Dancer, you know. They kind of come out and it's popped. You see, it's just full of little plants at the base. So it's kind of a dainty looking plant. Now here is my Regal Shield, which you know was developed with the black velvet, and it's kind of growing leaves like a black velvet, but it's a Regal Shield. It's got another big one coming in, but you see it's sized up from this to this. And if they size up from anything, I'm excited, because that means the plant's happy. This one I had a little bit of a challenge with. Let me know if those of you who have an Okinawa have issues with crisping on the leaves, because my other plants don't have that issue. But this leaf thus far, so it had almost no leaves. So it's gone from that to that. Jacqueline still has all her original leaves. You see, there's the first one, the second one. I think this is the second, this is the third, and now she's given me this nice leaf. So I can't wait to see what she does next. My Cuprea went from this little leaf to this behemoth. Now the newest one has actually gone down slightly in size, and it has not hardened off yet, but it still looks pretty nice. And I was impressed with this leaf. My dragon scale has been a bit of a slow grower. It came with one leaf rolled up in a little tube, and the next leaf was this. So I would say that's quite an upsize, and it looks like it's starting to give me a growth point for a new leaf now. Aslanii. Here was the last leaf, and look at it compared to the newest leaf. And it's starting to harden off and turn a little bit burgundy. It hasn't quite gotten the color that you see on them in the pictures. Now Mickey Mouse was in a tube and was in nice shape, but I wasn't getting big leaves, as you can see, and I've had some crisping issues with it. But this last leaf got quite large. Now it's got a new one coming in, and I have discovered that unlike the other Alocasia, these leaves tend to keep getting larger. And then we've got Scalprum. Came to me with one leaf. And then boom. Now, I haven't gotten another leaf from him yet, but I'd say that's a pretty big upsize. Now, this is not an Alocasia. This is a Colocasia, but this arrived with no leaves. Just 2 stumps in the dirt, and then it got this little itty-bitty cute one. Then it got this little bitty one, and there's 2 here. And the last 2 leaves were this one and that one. So it's been keeping every single leaf. As you can see, if I hold the camera back, it's got quite a few leaves. I'm going to put it over here. Even Hilo Beauty is finally getting some bigger leaves now. And my Frydek. But these were the ones that I thought really significantly, it was obvious. So here is my Chantrieri. There's the last leaf. Look at it compared to the newest one. I mean, this thing, I got to put my hand here just to show you. Look at how huge this leaf is. And it went from this little tiny one to this gigantic leaf. That was quite a big jump. That one surprised me. Now this was in a little tiny vase. We're talking tiny, with Halloween drawings on it, and I thought it was a Bambino. It had these little skinny leaves, as you can see. And there's 2 plants in here, and the very last leaf that just opened was that. So I think I have a poly here. That's quite a jump between that to this. And then the second plant in there just gave me this big leaf too on the back side. So I'm kind of excited to see what that holds. And then Black Stem was just a little teeny plant. Let me back up so we can get her in camera. And the last 2 leaves, this one hasn't even hardened off yet. There's my hand next to it. And that big one, because there's 2 plants here. And it now has, I mean, it just had a couple leaves. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And a 9th one coming in here. A pretty good sized one. And then drum roll, here's the one that wins the contest. And this is Alocasia Morocco, otherwise known as the Pink Dragon. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous leaf. And the leaf before it was this. So you see the size comparison? I mean, there's just no contest. And it may be a little shorter than my Watsoniana over there, but it's much wider. And it is just gorgeous. Look at that leaf. And then the pink stems, and it popped. And the pup had that, and now the new pup leaf, it just gave me this at the same time. So it's been a little slower than the other ones, but my oh my, what a leaf. So that's it. That's what's been going on with these guys. And, you know, it's just a run-of-the-mill chunky mix that kind of similar to what everybody else is using. The only thing that's really different about it is I'm using an orchid liquid fertilizer that's high in phosphorus and kind of middle of the road in nitrogen. And I'm also putting an organic slow feed with no potassium. It's just, it's a 620. And it's organic, and I mix it right into the potting mix, and I do not rinse my potting mix. I let my plants get to keep all that dirty junk, because that's what plants like, is dirt. So this is where we're at. I'll give you an update if they get any bigger. These are my first Alocasia. I mean, other than the original 3 that I got at Home Depot. These I ordered on the internet. They were shipped all the way from Florida to Washington. And I don't mean Washington, D.C. I mean Pacific Northwest. You know, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia. That's where I am. So that was over a 3,000-mile trip that these plants bounced in a box as little tiny starters here to my little plant room to share on my journey with all of you. Well, I hope you enjoyed the update. I hope you're having a wonderful new year, and thank you so much for watching.